Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions video, and I'm going to add a little bit to this first impressions video than normal, but let's go ahead and take a look at the knife. This is my Sharp by Design Mini Typhoon. Brian Nadeau is the maker, and you may want to pause this if you want to follow him on Instagram, Facebook, or get in touch with him some other way. He does a great job with these, and when I heard that there was a second run on the Mini Typhoon, I was very, very excited to go ahead and be a part of that. So there's the knife right there. Let's move this out of the way. And so this is my Mini Typhoon, designed and built by Brian Nadeau from Sharp by Design. I'm going to quickly run through the features here, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you how you come across those features, okay? So mine is the drop point version. It is blasted with satin flats, hand rubbed satin, fine jimping on the spine, fine jimping on the back spacer. You can see that the handle variation I went with is the milled out handle, and I also milled it out internally. That is an option that's available. Bronze anodized and satin hardware. I wanted the satin hardware to match the blade, and it came out perfect. This is one of the few knives in the world, okay, where I actually like the lock side better than the show side, or at least as much. I find the lock side, the way Brian does them, is just extremely, extremely attractive. You can see that distinctive Nadeau clip there, and it seems to work just fine. I'll have more maybe to say about that in the full review, but for now, I've got to say I'm pretty impressed, especially with the way that it's installed. So if you look there inside the handle, you can see how that comes through the handle and is sort of trapped by the backspacer. Really, really interesting way of doing that. The other cool thing about this, you can see the lock bar insert, and really the stainless steel lock bar insert is almost part of the lock. So the cutout for the frame lock is lower than you would normally see it, so that the insert really becomes the lock face. And becomes sort of the ending part of the lock bar, which is really, really a cool way to do it. It also allows Brian to build into the system an over travel stop. So that's really cool. And then finally, this is going to be a little tougher to show, but you can see that sort of ramp looking thing right in here. And I know I've watched videos of this as well, and it's really, really hard to kind of really get a grasp on this in a video. Let me show you the back here. You can see the cutout a little bit for that detent ramp, but it's cool because it's not a ball, it's a detent ramp, and it feels just a little bit different, okay, which is really, really interesting. So just ignore that noise. I do have one of my kids here with me. So anyway, quickly through the features. This is S90V steel, drop point, satin on the flats, blasted bevels. You can see, oh yeah, by the way, there's Brian Nadeau's maker's mark. That is so cool, and there's a little bit of oil there. I should have cleaned that off before. You can take a look at that satin finished hardware, which is very, very well done. You can see the milling on the handle there. And then, of course, there's the backspacer. As I said, I went with fine jimping in both cases. Now, I want to set this knife aside just for a second. We'll come back with specs and my initial impressions in a second. But before I do, one of the most impressive and really enjoyable things about this whole process is the way that Brian has his order form set up. So you can see the knife there changing at the top. So this is the Mini Typhoon order form. And there's the knife, and he's kind of rolling through different variations that are available. And if you scroll down, obviously you fill in your name and everything. I'm not going to fill this out just because it would take too long. But and of course, I'd be giving you all that information. But I do want to show you the way that Brian does this, which is really, really impressive. Sorry, I got to angle that to get the light from glaring off the screen. There we go. So, as you go through the various aspects of this knife, Brian gives you these options, and so you just pick the one you want. So it's really, really cool because you can take a look at each one, you can pick the appropriate thing, and once you pick one of these, there we go, it will change up at the top. Now, maybe it won't do it for me this time, but when I did this originally, you pick this, and by the time you're all done going through your options, so I'm going to unclick that because I'm just going to close this website when we're done, so I guess it doesn't matter. So what happens is you go through and you pick. So if you want a drop point or American Tanto or Japanese Tanto, various options for your swedge or even a harpoon, and any of them that cost money, it's just here at the side. So I'll show you right there. You can see clip point or harpoon. It's going to be a little bit of an additional charge there. Fuller or no fuller, jimping, fine or coarse, okay. Blasted or tumbled or acid washed and tumbled, whether you do satin flats or no satin flats. All of these are just options that you can scroll through. You can even pick the kind of handle you want to go with. So there's the handle that I went with over here. There's the very Brian Nadeau-esque chevron pattern. Milling or no milling internally, again, the weight reduction, there's a charge for that. Frame color, this is really cool. He not only shows you, not only gives you the option of what you want to do, but he kind of shows you where you're going to land on the spectrum. So you have the ability to really sort of customize the handle exactly to the color you want it. And again, you can do various surface finishes, backspacer, jimping, no jimping, coarse or fine, and again it shows a charge for each one of those things. You can go with your, then you can do backspacer color, and then you get to pick hardware options out of those 6 options. You also get to pick for how you're going to finish it, blasted or raw. Sorry about that, got a quick phone call. I'm just going to ignore that for now because we're not going to be here much longer. So what's really, really cool about this is as you go through and you select your options and you pick the way that you want your particular knife to come out in the end, you get an update with cost and you get an update with look down at the bottom of the page. And that is a wonderful, wonderful way to do this because you know exactly what you're getting into. Now the light has changed a little bit since I had this on camera a second ago. The sun is, it's early morning and the sun's kind of rising, so I do have the curtains closed, but it's not gonna, I can't get total control over that, so you're gonna have to bear with me a little on the coloration here. So let's go ahead and get a size and weight on this, and I'll give you my overall impression, and then we'll be done. But I wanted to show you that system because I think it's one of the best ways that I've seen it. I've got some friends who are into custom knives. There we go, the lighting's back to the way it should be. I've got some friends who are into custom knives, and you know, talking to them about that stressful time right before the bill arrives where they're not sure how much it's going to cost and they're waiting and they're talking to the maker and they're, you know, Brian's system takes all of that guesswork out of the equation and just makes it really, really easy for everyone involved to know exactly what's happening. He knows what your expectations are, you know what your expectations are, you know exactly how much each one's going to cost. It's just a wonderful, wonderful way to go through that process and keep everybody happy and everything fair. Okay, so now that I've said that, let's go ahead and give you some specs on this guy. So overall, this knife is 8 inches right on. And it's going to have a 3.5 inch blade with, I'm going to see if I can get the handle, 4.5 inch handle. So really, really nice EDC sized knife. And I'll tell you, when I saw the size on this, I knew it would be a great EDC knife. And so I sort of went about a plan in my head to make this my most perfect EDC knife. That's really what I was going for. The size, the materials, the finishes, the weight, everything, as you know, as I thought about it, I was like, well, you know, what would be just really nice to carry in your pocket? This is not going to sit on a shelf. This is going to be used all the time. And so I wanted to really make it well suited to that. Let's go ahead and get a weight on this and we'll see how I did, because I did do some extra measures and pay a little extra to make sure that this guy could be fairly lightweight. That is in ounces. So 4.3 ounces for an 8 inch titanium frame lock. I am more than a little pleased with that. That is really, really nice. And it's not going to be a problem at all at under 4 ounces. So there you go, guys. That is the Sharp by Design Mini Typhoon. That's the process involved in getting one. Now the books are closed now and I had to get special permission from Brian to show you that order form. I had to get a password to log in and stuff like that. But I wanted to give you that because it really shows what I think is about the best way to do a custom knife order like that. It just really streamlines everything and keeps everything on the up and up. And it was a thoroughly enjoyable process. Now there is a wait. I can't remember when I ordered this. I want to say it was probably around March or so, might even been a little earlier than that. So there's going to be a little bit of a wait, and that wasn't that bad. Okay, there are guys, I know guys who've been waiting, 10 months, 11 months, and sometimes it'll take you a year to get a full custom knife. This one is also pretty affordable for what you're getting. And I've got to say, overall, in terms of the fit and finish, in terms of the design, in terms of, all the little features that I look for in a knife, thin edge geometry, those kinds of things, ergonomics, I'm really, really impressed with this. And my first impression is exactly what I hoped it would be, that this would be a nearly ideal everyday carry knife, and it really truly is that. And it's everyday carry with a touch of class. Okay, I like that kind of thing where elegant simplicity is what I was going for, and I think I've really achieved that. If I do have any criticism for Brian's designs, they can be a little over the top. Okay, and in the custom knife world, I know that there's a need for that, but although I love his work, I wanted mine to look awesome but be relatively simple, and I think that we've achieved that, and he has done a great job on delivering a fantastic, fantastic knife. Now, obviously, I'm going to carry this, I'm going to use it, I'm going to experience it for a while, and I'll come back with my full review and discussion before too long, but there is a lot of cool stuff going on here. I would like to ask this one question in the comments below. What do you think of the clip? Brian, I've heard him say that not a lot of people are fans of the way he does these clips. And it's not that they dislike the process. I think most people think that's a really innovative way of doing this. But they're just not fans of maybe the location or the look. They like it a little bit higher or whatever. I'm going to reserve judgment on that until I've had some chance to use and carry this knife, but I would like to know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let me know what you think about the ordering process too. Are you in agreement with me that that is just a brilliant way of handling that? Because I truly think Brian's done a great job with that aspect as well. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.